Now, I want to talk about the middle numbers in your social security number and give a little bit of information about that. However, before I could really get into something like that and do something like that, I'm going to have to educate you a little bit on sex in relationship to commerce. The birds and the bees. Stuff that you may not have heard from your parents, or maybe you did, just depending on how conscious they are, but stuff that's very important when it comes to taking back what's yours and really truly taking back your spiritual sovereignty. That's what I want to kind of focus on this episode. See, before you can become financially sovereign, as one of the great teachers always taught us, you have to become spiritually sovereign first. You have to understand and free your spirit from the cares and the static that the matrix is grabbing onto it with. See, the matrix is holding your spirit, and this is what's stopping you from truly experiencing sovereignty. And this is because of sex and our lack of understanding of sex, as well as our lack of securing our sexuality as far as making money from it. They call this in the streets or in the legal realm prostitution, of which it's not. It's nowhere near prostitution, but they call this prostitution because they consider any type of exchange that goes on in relationship to sex a form of prostitution. However, if you look up the term prostitution and start to research it, you will realize that the marriage certificate itself and the marriage agreement is nothing but sophisticated prostitution. You see, and people don't understand that when you get married to someone, it's about finances. You are literally that person. Everything about that person becomes you. Are their debt, their sexuality, everything about that person, you are now legally binded to that person. You may say, well, I'm not going to get married then. I'm just going to be single. And, engage in free relationships is what they call it. However, this is even worse. Yeah, I said it. This is even worse. Why? Because you don't even have a contract yet. You're still contracting. You're contracting STDs. You're buying condoms. You're exchanging fluid, which is a form of a contract. And the biggest contract that you're engaging in is that you are wasting energy that's actually worth a shitload of money, and they know about this. It's located actually in the spiritual part of your body. The spiritual part of your body has a net worth that can be calculated through your social security number. But first you got to understand your sexuality first before you can even do that. See, they knew how sexual you were going to be or unsexual you were going to be based on your parents and your bloodline. See, they know more about the science of mating, or what you would call sex, than you think they do. They may have even played God and attracted your parents in a scenario to produce you. Two people with similar DNA, two people with similar genetics coming together to create what they would call a God-like being. See, this is what they're doing. They're calling it cloning. This is a version of cloning, and this is what they started doing. And it got worse, though, but this is what they started doing in the 1800s. And this is what they didn't tell us about. See, they started cloning us. They started controlling, through the church, when I say they, through the Vatican, they started to control how we engage as far as sexuality. It was regulated. They would only put people together in certain scenarios. They would make you take a vow of celibacy in certain scenarios to build up the sexual chi and energy, knowing that you, in 20 years or 10 years, you were going to meet someone that you were going to be attracted to, and you were going to have these children based upon building up this sexual prowess. See, this is what they did, and this is how they created this program or this system that they're now able to benefit off of your sexuality, even your organs, even. Like a man's organs or woman's organs, or a woman's clit or a male's phallus or penis or dick. I mean, I got to keep it real for some people that are just blunt. Is regulated and owned. That's right, owned by several banks because they started to clone and create life. It's deep. So now you have people that are out here frivolously giving out money, having sex, thinking they're doing something. And then some people know about this science, but you're still missing it though. Because you out here, you might not even be a prostitute. I'm saying you out here, you got a couple of boyfriends, and you know, you using your sexuality to generate money. You know what I'm talking about, those particular women that are into the Eastern Stars and stuff like that. I'm not trying to give out any secrets or anything like that, but I keep it real because we taught this. As Moors, we taught this doctrine to the Eastern Stars in different groups. So we are obligated to wake you up or enlighten you. So you out here giving it out, giving it up, getting money out of it, or you think you're getting money out of it, but are you getting as much as you really could have got? Because there's different levels of sex, and I'll stop right here. There's different numbers that resonate with different types of sexual experiences. See, the sex that you guys or most people engage in, most people in the society engage in six. Even if you're married, it's 6. It may take you about 60 minutes tops, maybe 6 minutes. It just depends on you. But the bottom line is you're engaging in 6 because it's 2 people involved. And you're exchanging on a mundane level, really just on the middle or lower level, with your sacral chakra. You're exchanging this kundalini, and you're caught up in 6. That's a level of sex. Then you have another level of sex which goes into the number 8. See, some people are caught up in sex based upon the number 8. And this is a person that is engaged in sexuality based upon a number 8 is a person, you can do this type of sex with someone, or you can do it by yourself, or what you would call a form of masturbation. But the bottom line is that in 8, you're learning how to use the energy on different levels to attract different things. You're now using sexual magic. And you can do this with a partner or by yourself, but you're intentionally going to different areas, in different places, and sending out sexual communications and receiving sexual communications through the number 8. This is why it operates as a spiral when you see the number 8. So it moves in a number 8. And this is how you are experiencing your sexuality based upon the number 8. And then you have the top number, and I'll stop here because my airtime is running out, the number 9. And this is when you totally engage in sex by yourself. And you go into the orgasm aspect of sex, not just the ejaculation aspect. For males, they think that the ejaculation is the orgasm, but there's a higher level. The orgasm is up here. And this form of sex, beloveds, you engage in alone. No eyesight, no looking at pornography. See, on the 8 level, some people they looking at pornography, and I mean, you know, because you're still corresponding through your iris or your eyes. So on the 9 level, there's no exchange. There's no eye exchange during that process. You are totally inner. It's an inner experience. It's worth millions of dollars if done at a certain time, a certain location, a certain place, at a certain time. And you could do this in a group. This is what the Lumerians did. This group called the Lumerians. They built the whole society off of this form of energy. They turned this into a form of energy that eventually led to a higher level of sex. So I'm going to, part 2 or soon, go into the middle aspect of the social. My time is running out. But as always, stay vigilant. Namaste.